Good. Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Ocean's Pit. Little show about big things. Hope you guys are having a great day today. Looks like we're going to get a little. The spring is in the air. We know that, but it looks like it's going to get a little rainy, a little storms today. So I hope you guys are well watching the show. We got a great show lined up for you guys today, folks. Remember, this is Ocean's Pit every day, Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock noon, and every show is dedicated to the first responders, and especially people like you. And we really appreciate all the texts and emails and stories and stuff that you send in every day. We have guests Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We got a great guest on today, folks. He's been in the music business for many years, radio, and he's got his own show called The Dag Show. We're talking about my man Dag. Will be coming on real soon. And today's listen, most of my shows are a little no filter, but today's going to be a little even more no filter because now we got a double. So there's two of us with no filter, so it should be good. Anyway, check the website, TonyOceanMusic.com. Give us a call at 847-769-8609. And we are almost done. You can see behind us, folks, this is we're taking everything out and moving it into the new studio. I'm saying hopefully, I think we'll be done before the end of April. We'll have the brand new studio. So we're very, very excited about that. All right, so busy week, a lot of stuff happening. Horror. First of all, I want to say some congratulations before we think. Let's get right to the sponsors, folks. We got to talk about our main sponsors, folks. The men, yes, and women, our good friends from Ace Hardware, Norwich, Des Plaines, Evergreen Park, Warrenville. All our good buddies from Ace Hardware, Raffaello and Jackie. Buy local and shop local, folks. Remember, they've been helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. That's Ace Hardware. Don't forget, folks, now spring is in the air, and if you want to buy a brand new grill, man, they're going to give you $20 off if you go inside Ace and say, hey, I want to grill my Ace off. That's right, I want to grill my Ace off. You say that to Ace Hardware, you're going to get $20 off your next purchase for your brand new grill right in time for spring and summer. That is Ace Hardware, and we'll give you more details on Ace Hardware as the show goes. Thank you, our good buddies. All right, folks, let's get some more sponsors as well. Roy McCampbell, attorney at law. If you want a great lawyer, folks, that's Roy McCampbell out of Rosemont, Illinois. Statewide law practice that is client-focused and results-driven. Call Roy McCampbell at 708-275-4264. How about Laura Ocean Solutions? You know what, folks? Increasing profits by reducing credit card fees. If you're in the credit card business, this is the place you want to go. Laura Ocean Solutions. If you go with her, you'll never have to shop again. And how about Deutsch Power Center, folks? Deutsch Power Center, servicing the construction and diesel industry in the Chicagoland area for the last 100 years out of Elgin, Illinois. That's Deutsch Power Center, 224-276-6550. Now, guys, you are watching us all on 5 different social media outlets. Tony Ocean Show page, Mo Carrara page. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Twitter. We're on YouTube. And we're also on the brand new Ocean's Pit Facebook page. So, guys, push that button and share it. Let everybody know about the little show about big things because we got an incredible show today, folks. And I'm so excited. It's going to be fun. Now, you know, folks, real fast, every Tuesday we're at Almost Home Foundation for Dogs. I volunteer and I walk the dogs on Tuesday from 8 to 10. We need help. They need help, folks. They need funding. They need volunteers and they need supplies. Go to almosthomefoundation.org. Tell them Ocean's Pit sent you. Take care of our dogs, man, and cats, family members. Truly, they are. All right. So, we got a busy week coming up. Tonight, we'll be at the brand new grand opening of the new Osteria Capri. That's right. You know, Joey Capri in Willow Springs. They got Gigi over there in Burr Ridge. But this is Joey's new place, Joey and Giovanna. It is called Osteria, and it's going to be Capri Downers Grove. It's in the Doubletree Hotel. We'll be there tonight with Jerry Jams. That's a 6:30 hit tonight. Tomorrow we'll be at Lake Barrington. We'll be at Zaza's with Jeff Dubray. That's a 7 o'clock hit. Friday, Chicago Prime Steakhouse in Schaumburg with Ryan O'Ryan. That's an 8 o'clock hit. And Saturday night, if you're in Plainfield, Illinois, we'll be at Champion Sports Bar with my good buddy Rhino Ryan. That's an 8 o'clock hit. That's this Saturday night. Check the website with more other stuff coming on. Let's see who's watching. Patty Pendergrass. Patty, how you doing? The dag is in the house. Patrice, former Chicago Bear, Honey Bear. Hello, honey. Kathy, St. Eppolito. Of course, Santa Barbara, California, New York, New Jersey, Ohio. Hello, hello, hello. All right. It is Wednesday, April 5th, which means yesterday was April 4th, voting day. Man, I can't tell you. Paul Vallis lost as mayor, and now the new mayor is Brandon Johnson or Brandon Lightfoot. Same person. One's a male, one's a female. Detroit, Chicago, I feel bad for all my friends in Chicago, folks. What is happening to this city? Before the pandemic, 300 people a day were leaving the state of Illinois. Before the pandemic, before the rioting, before the looting. Chicago is going to be another Portland. It's going to be another Detroit. I don't know what happened. We know it's Democrat. It always will be Democrat in Illinois. I was hoping that Paul Vallis would win it. So my sincere apologies to that. Paul Vallis, a good friend. He was at our show at the Alley, where we did last month, the Carnival Speakeasy downtown. It's just sad. It's just sad. On some good news, I want to say congratulations to my good friend Jennifer Varimus for Alderman in Elmhurst. Congratulations, Jenny. Congratulations to Dick Sayed, fourth Alderman, 4th District Alderman. Dick Sayed. Say it again with Dick. Congratulations, Dick. How about our good friends? Congratulations. That's right, baby. Steve Smith, Kerry Jaros, of course, and Tammy Miller, Elk Grove Village. They all won trustees, man. Congratulations. I worked hard on this one. So it's very, very important. Congratulations to putting good people in office. They're doing the right thing. And that's what I really appreciate that because they're great guys. All right. So, yeah. And Donald Trump indicted. We're going to talk more about that, folks. Whether you're a Trump fan or you're not a Trump fan, fair is fair. And just like Eric Trump said, his son, folks, they're after the man. They're not after the crime. And we're going to talk more about that with Dag as well, see what his opinion on it. It's just, I just don't get it, folks. I just don't understand it. But we're going to get more to that, folks. Our prayers go to the fallen firefighter, of course. Horrible. We just lost another one here in the Gold Coast area, folks. And these guys working so hard, these women and first responders that do everything for us, folks. And they put their life on the line all the time, man. And it's got to be horrible. That's job, the magical. You don't know. Hi, honey. See you when I get home from work. You don't know if you're coming home. A police officer, a fireman, the first responders. It's just it's just horrible, man. And my prayers go out to all those guys and women that work so hard to do that, folks, who help us. It's very, very important. Also, again, the prayers out to the Apollo Theater in Belvedere, Illinois. 28 injured, 1 killed. Horrible. I think it was 3 bands, rock concert. Here you are having a great time. You worked all week. You're going out for a nice weekend, see a little rock music. You're ready to roll. All of a sudden, the roof falls. Horrible. Our prayers go out to that. Now, I don't know. It's just too much. It's just too much bad news. Even the tornadoes that have been hitting on the Midwest and the South Side. I mean, it's just like one thing after another every day is more bullshit, folks. More bullshit hidden. We got Easter coming, so we want to say happy early Easter to everybody that celebrates Easter, folks. Happy Easter out there, and also happy Passover for all my Jewish friends out there. And Passover, we're gonna have Easter at our house, folks. The family's gonna be there, so we're excited. I love doing that. Get to see my mom. I haven't seen her since last week, so it's nice to see my mom. All right, folks. With all the good stuff coming on here, folks, man. We just got another brand new sponsor. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the sponsors now because I don't want to interrupt when I have Dag on for the rest of the show. So let's do this. Let's go. Let's get rid of those other sponsors, folks. Let's go, of course, to our good buddies. You got to love them. That's Don Esteban Cigars out of Tarpon Springs, Florida. Don Esteban Cigars. Now it's time to get your Tony Ocean cigars, folks. You call Javier from Tarpon Springs, Florida. Tell him you want the Tony Ocean special. 727-366-7536. Let's not forget Portillo's. Happy anniversary and birthday to our friends from Portillo's, man. One of our sponsors. 60th birthday for Portillo's, folks. And our son Joey going out there working hard for the marketing department for their fundraisers. If you have a nonprofit organization looking for some cash, looking for some fundraising stuff, call our friends. Call Joe, of course, at 224-636-3646 or jfank@portillos.com. Happy birthday, anniversary, Portillo's, 60 years. Trico Hair Experts out of Rosemont, Illinois, recreating great hair days, folks. For all those people that love, you got to love them, man. Stop recreating great hair days. So I'm so excited about that. Carmela and Anthony, of course, Trico Hair Experts out of Rosemont, Illinois. Brand new one coming in, folks. Did winter take a toll on your driveway or parking lot? Call Gorelli. Sick of those potholes? Call Gorelli. Does your driveway and parking lot need a facelift? Call Gorelli. Sick and looking at your asphalt and concrete? Call Gorelli. Do you need a regular maintenance for your parking lot or driveway? Call Gorelli. Let Gorelli Pavement Services rejuvenate your parking lot or driveway with fresh seal coat. With over 30 years of experience, Gorelli Pavement Services is the place to go for all your parking lot and driveway needs. Gorelli services Wisconsin, Illinois, and Indiana. Call Gorelli Pavement Services today, 815-271. That's 5835. It's that simple, folks. 815-271-5835. Ask for Barb. Tell him you heard it on Ocean's Pit. All right, so we got that out of the way, folks. God bless. And we got a great show lined up for you guys today. I hope you guys are having a good day. Hope you're going out, supporting live entertainment, local establishments, very, very important. And we'll tell you some more stuff that's happening as we go along. Now, without any further ado, he's got a show called The Dag Show, and very exciting, interesting podcast that's on. You got to get a chance to listen to it, folks. He's been in the music business for so many years. Got a lot of great stories. And then we're going to talk, John. Welcome, John Abentane, first-time listener here to Ocean's Pit. I hope you're having a great day. Call Gorelli. There you go, Jams. Oh, thank you, Dick. All right, so let's bring him on. My good buddy Dag's been waiting. Dag's in the house.
What's up, Mo?
What's up, brother? How you doing, pal?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for having me on. It's an honor to be here.
Well,
and I'm excited about the things we have to talk about today. Although this is a switch for me because you're leading the interview and I'm the interviewee. So
yeah, there you go. So
I'm trying to get my head around this. I'm not sure how to do it. So I'll just let you run the show here.
I'll run it, and then we're going to do when we'll be on yours, and then you can run it. So, but I got some good stuff we're going to do, folks. We're talking with you. You got an interesting bio, a lot of stuff for Dag. So let's start. Where were you born, buddy?
I was born here in Chicago. I'm an old man in 1965, and born here in Chicago on the west side. I think it was Washington Hospital. That's what it was called, over on Madison Avenue. Okay. And grew up in the city. Grew up with a young mother who was 15 years old, and just imagine all the tumultuous bullshit that could possibly go along with something like that. That's up. And as I got older, got into music, and thanks to my stepfather, it escalated, and I became very involved in the music scene since I was very young, about 13, 14 years old. So it blew up from there. It was a passion of mine, and that's how I started.
So it was in your heart what you're saying, Dad. You have a big family? You have a big family growing up?
Well, it's kind of funny. So I'm half adopted. So you actually know my father and his girlfriend, Karen Serpico.
Great lady. And our prayers go out to Karen right now, going through the
I just talked to her today.
How's she doing?
Because I know she's not feeling well and she's laying in bed.
Yeah.
And so my natural father had put me up for adoption right after I was born, sold me off for $2,400. Tom Revelletti adopted me when I was like 9 years old.
Tom, another great guy. Tom, great.
He's a wonderful man, and
Yes.
he was in my life since I was like 6 years old, and took very good care of us. Then
Yeah.
he had some kids with my mom, so I have those two. Then I have my natural fathers, which I have a brother and a sister, which I met one time, maybe two times I met, and then haven't spoken to him since I was like 30.
Okay.
And then I have my stepsisters, or my stepbrother and stepsisters, which Mike Gallus, the drummer for Ara, him and I are like this. We have been our whole lives since we were young, since I was like 12 or 13. And although, you know, he was a stepbrother and his dad's not married to my mother, Mike and I are still brothers, and probably one of the most wonderful men on the planet in my world anyway.
You know, you're very fortunate, Dag. Now, listen, you grew up in the music. Let's see, rock music, Queen, Kiss, all those great
Oh,
bands. Who
God.
influenced you? Who was there
Queen.
somebody when you were growing up?
My stepdad, man, he would come home with albums and throw the Queen album on there, and it was like, and you know what was interesting about, and we call him the old man. What's interesting about the old man is he would really talk about the music. You know, he just wouldn't put the record on.
Yeah.
He'd talk about, and he would really dig into why the vocals were important, or why the guitar was important, and what made it so special. So he really got you involved in the overall, the building of that song, whether, even though he's there for it, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Talking about it, and he made music very, very exciting. He's the first one who started writing music with me. He bought a 4-track Philips reel to reel, and you know, we put egg cartons all over this shitty little basement we had.
Sure, right, exactly, right. I mean, back then, what the hell, we didn't know. You know, I just want to give a big shout out to Dino Manzella for hooking us up. Our good buddy Dino, I love you, brother. All right, so he's the best, Dino, I tell you. Ozone. Well, how old were you during that band?
Ozone was the first band. I was like 14. And my brother Mike, I mean, you got to remember, there's 3.5 years difference between me and Mike, right?
Okay.
So if I'm 14, this kid's like 11.
Okay.
And then we started. Ozone was me, Mike, and then Tim Sullivan, and I think Doug was in the band. I can't remember. But then we changed it to 45 RPM. We were a 3-piece because it was Revelletti, Presco, and Mikey, and all our ages added up to 45.
There you go.
And then your friend Joe Catafio, okay,
which is today's Joe's birthday. So happy birthday, Joe, up there. Absolutely.
We opened up for them at well, it was Outlaws, and then it became Aw Shucks, AW Shucks in Elmhurst there. You remember that place?
Sure. Then it became McGregor's. Yes, I remember.
It became McGregor's, yeah. And the funny thing is the very first night that we opened, my brother's like, it was on the marquee. Mikey, the 10-year-old drummer or whatever he was, and Mike Arturi said, "This kid's not playing my drums," so we had to set up in front of him. And after that, Mike Arturi said, because we opened for him for 2 nights.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, he can play my drums anytime."
Yeah, Mike Arturi, another great drummer and a great guy. Absolutely, great guy.
I recorded in my first recordings were done in Mike Arturi's studio in Lombard, Illinois.
Very, very cool.
In the studio.
Well, you know what? You've got an interesting career with you even going. Then I love the name Dag Nabbit Studios. That's pretty cool, man. You opened that with your brother. That was just a recording studio, correct?
Well, it was really what I put Dag Nabbit together to do was to develop artists. It was all about trying to develop artists. And by the way, if anybody's thinking of doing this, I hope you got a giant bankroll of millions and millions of dollars, because I totally played that one wrong. Did not really think that one through and wasn't experienced enough to really do the right things. However, we did do a lot of great things, and we made a big name for Dag Nabbit. You know, it really started to grow, and I was able to, because of that push, a lot of opportunities opened up for me. But bands, our whole thing is in that place. It was a recording studio. It was a photography studio. It was a live rehearsal stage. It was a video studio. We had an incredible staff there, and everybody worked very hard to promote bands. And I mean, we had national talent coming through there once they realized we had a sound stage, and it was a lot of fun. But to develop artists, there's a couple of inherent problems.
Well, yeah, but you know what?
Right.
That's very, very tough. But back then, develop the artist. You had the label. If you ever did get signed, a label did back you. This now these days, Dick. Now these days, come on. You
Oh,
see,
there's
you see some guy on TikTok, some girl on TikTok with a short dress on. All of a sudden, she's got billions of views, and she becomes a big star.
Well, there's the times have changed, and if we go back to 1993 when I started Dag Nabbit, remember we had people forget never talk about this, but the great music industry crash of the late 90s when all the record stores closed, the record labels went out of business. Napster and Limelight were stealing everybody's music, and Lars Ulrich was all over the news.
Sure,
People were calling him an asshole because his intellectual property was being stolen.
sure.
Which he was kind of an asshole about it. I'll give everybody that right. So that being said, it was a very, very tumultuous time for the music industry back then. And my studio, I had to close my studio. Although I was doing commercials and doing development for artists, I was doing development for artists in Japan, and recorded. I was playing every instrument on their albums. It was ridiculous.
Well, you were busting your butt doing that, and
make money.
This is fantastic. When I hear that you've got some stuff in Japan and Norway, all of a sudden you start getting checks, some ASCAP and your music with some porn movies,
German porn.
Cool.
Back in the night, this is a true story. I'll tell you this story. So all of a sudden, these checks start coming in, and Linda, my wife at the time, who hosted the Dag Nabbit Music Mayhem on 92.7 with me, she goes, "You were getting royalty checks," and she looks it up and didn't have the heart to tell me what it was for when she figured it out. So, another quarter goes by, and here comes another check, and I go, "Where are these checks coming from?" She goes, "I didn't have the heart to tell you, but your music was used in German pornography." Now,
hey, it is what it is. Hey, look, the porn needs music too.
I was horribly depressed for like a year and a half. I'm like, with that last album I made, we recorded and then re-recorded it again.
Oh, unbelievable.
I put so much heart into that. It's the most miserable, depressing album lyrically ever. And here it is. The music's in German pornography.
Dag, you had one record called Almost Naked, and then you had Read Me, right? So you had two
Read Me
records.
was the second. Yeah. And that was the one that wound up doing okay. It didn't sell shit in the United States. In fact, I sold more T-shirts and coffee mugs and hats than I sold albums here in the U.S.
Well,
but it did okay overseas. It certainly didn't make me a millionaire. You know how hard that is.
Sure.
But I'm grateful. I mean, really, if you look at things, how grateful could I be? Most musicians never get an ASCAP check. I got them for 12 years.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very fortunate. I'm very grateful. But I'll tell this to all the musicians out there who watch you. I busted my ass to get those checks. So I deserve them for 12 years.
Yeah, you bust your butt doing what you do, and it's very important. Absolutely. I mean, even when we did Star Search back then, and now it's like before you Star Search, like when you won the contest, you got a record deal, and we didn't win. We lost by a quarter of a point. But the Sawyer Brown beat us, and it became a huge country band.
Huge, yeah.
But I'm trying to say the point is that back then they support now these new artists now, American Idol and all these shows there. I mean, I think the first year they really made some people who won really became famous, and now if they win, you barely hear these guys. You know what I mean?
Well, because it's kind of become old news.
Yeah,
It's really American Idol is for the senior citizens sitting at home in recliners and in nursing homes now. I hate to say that. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's old news. It's boring. At the end of the day, now, and we live in an industry now in the entertainment business on the music side where people don't buy albums, they buy songs. And we're lucky if they buy them, right? Because you can go anywhere and just get the song for free.
Right.
So I was listening to an interview with Pat Monahan from Train, and he said, "We don't make money selling records. None. We make No money selling records. If we don't tour and sell merch,
Yeah.
the tour's a bust. It's a
Right,
bust.
and people might still buy their CDs if they're buying the T-shirt when they're signing it,
Right.
the T-shirt, the hat, whatever it is, when they have the meet and greets and stuff like that.
Well,
You're
show me
absolutely
the
right.
last that you can look at who sold 2 million CDs. Show me what, Taylor Swift?
Yeah, right.
I mean, but look at the biggest arena touring acts of rock and roll.
Right, and it's funny because it's amazing you say that because like Queen is still selling out, Journey's still selling out, all these bands are selling out, but somebody's buying those tickets. Somebody's still buying those records. When Queen puts out a record, it might not be great, but people will still buy it, even with their new singer. Or when Journey got some new material, people will still buy it. I mean, look, I'm a huge Springsteen fan. So you see him for 4 hours. When he does his new songs, everybody goes out and gets a beer and whatchamacallit. And they come back when the old songs come.
Right.
Folks, you're watching Ocean's Pit, little show about big things. We have Dag from the Dag Show on. Real fast, I got to promote this, folks. We're going to be next Wednesday. Reason why I'm saying it, Tap House Grill in Lamont, 1243 State Street for the Ruby Whiskers Animal Rescue. We're going to be there at 7 o'clock, $10 covers. All the money goes to the dogs and the place, man, Ruby Whiskers, my buddy Danny. It's going to be me, Tony Toto, and the lovely Regina Karma, the talented. $10. That's next Wednesday. And last but not least, sponsors, folks. Let's say hello to Danny Mazzi, Armando Supermarkets, 925 Liberty Street in Elgin, Illinois. Buy local, shop local, and Crash Champions Collision Auto Repair. For all your collision auto repairs, that's Mikey and Gigi from CrashChampions.com. Ocean's Pit, little show about big things with Dag from the Dag Show.
Hey, can I say hi to a couple of people? I see Loretta's here, Remington.
Fantastic, man.
Patty Pendergrass, I just saw her last weekend. I was trying to take pictures of her at the Blockchain Coalition show, and she wouldn't stop moving. Every picture came out blurry. I took literally 60 pictures of Patty. I got two.
That's it. Patty, me and Patty go back many, many years, originally from Elmwood Park, like I am. She's a great rocker, of course. And Loretta, we were doing a Dean Martin celebrity roast. And we bought in newer people. We bought a Gaga, we bought a Joan Jett, and she played Joan Jett before she had the band. So congratulations, Loretta, doing. We also, can you say hello to Ellie Weinhardt, ladies and gentlemen? Let's give it up for Ellie.
Ellie?
Ellie Weinhardt. She was in the movie A League of Her Own, and she's also the number one Joan Rivers impersonator. Ellie, how you doing?
Ellie, how are you? And by the way, I also want to thank thank you for the Grateful Award of being one of the prettiest male guests you've ever had on your show.
There you go. And someone just said, Patty Pendergrass just called you Johnny Fever. There you go.
I saw that.
Johnny Fever, you gotta love that. Luann from New York City is in the house. Hello, my dear friend. All right. You had some song that was going to be, something was going to happen for a Super Bowl commercial. What happened with that?
Oh, okay. So I was back in the day when I had the studio in Park Ridge, and there were two advertising agencies that handled the Anheuser-Busch stuff. You had DDB Needham and you had Leo Burnett. Leo Burnett did the Lizards, and DDB Needham did pretty much everything else, right? Okay. Remember the Lizards? Bud, what?
Yeah.
One of the most popular commercials in commercial history, literally.
Absolutely.
So I was on a C team. So in the advertising industry, you have your A team, a B team, and a C team. And the way they're structured is your A team has all the experience. Your B team is kind of in the middle, and your C team is the new crew. Ad agencies do this to motivate people to try and get, so I had, let me kind of step back so I'm not confusing people. The A team had BB King. The B team and this Super Bowl commercial had Bad Boy Arnold. I was on the C team, the young, new, up-and-coming ad execs, right?
Sure.
And they're trying to make a name for themselves. So being on that team was great because on a Tuesday or a Friday, DDB Needham would send a messenger out with a video and a check for $20,000 just to demo it.
Sure. Wow.
5, sometimes it was 10, but just to demo it. I got to keep the money whether they used my commercial or not. So this thing comes in, and they call me on a Friday night, and they say, you're going up against BB King and Bad Boy Arnold, and we need it by Monday. I went, oh shit, what?
There's a little pressure under your belt over there,
Just,
pal. Yeah,
just a little
just
bit.
a little bit.
So the video comes, and I'm paying scale to my brother and to this other gentleman, Paul. And I call Paul, and I call my brother. I go, you have to get here tonight. We have to session this tonight. And I put the video in, and it's a video cassette. Young people don't know what that is.
The VHS, yes.
Put it in the TV, and it's these three women, and I'm like, okay. And they're sitting around in the bar, and this spot is for the Super Bowl. Now, this started in October. The Super Bowl is in February. So I do the spot. I sit down before Paul and Mike even show up to the studio. I got the part written, recorded. I'm just waiting for this. For Paul's he puts a vocal on it. It's like, ooh, that was it. Mike plays the drums. It's over. Song's freaking done, right? And we eat pizza and get hammered. Just get stupid drunk.
Yes.
I send the video back, and apparently from like 2 or 3 months into January, I'm not really hearing a lot. But except for the fact that Bad Boy Arnold is now out. It's between me and BB King.
Wow.
Now, coming down to the end of January, and BB King's song, he got paid $500,000 to demo a spot for The Thrill Is Gone. That song's like 50 years old.
50 years old, absolutely.
$50.
Yeah.
He didn't even have to get out of bed to get that check.
Yeah.
Literally. So I'm so excited. I'm like, I'm going to be in the Super Bowl. Are you kidding me? It's a 3.5-year national run. Yeah, I think it was 3 or 3.5 years, and it paid like $3.5 million. I'm going to be.
That's
I'm
huge.
on my way.
That's huge. And it would do great. And it would do great for your career if that happened.
Huge thing.
Yeah.
So now we get down to like 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, and I get the call, and they go, "You won the spot. You beat out BB King. You're a big shot now at DDB Needham." And this
unbelievable.
And it was the C team who put me there. So, I wrote the songs, but this team pushed hard for me, and I won. I beat BB King and Bad Boy Arnold. Talk about a guy who was like, I'm somebody.
Unbelievable. You can't beat that.
The day before the Super Bowl, like midnight, I get the call from the ad agency, my girl there, and she goes, you're not going to believe this, but Augie Bush III, and keep in mind, that idiot is accused of killing his wife, decides he's going to do a commercial. He's literally in the studio in St. Louis doing a video commercial with talking stupid nonsense, and completely at the 11th hour, the day of the Super Bowl, my music got shelved. Lowest rated commercial in Budweiser history. Because he was so arrogant, he just wanted to go out and talk and see, and just wouldn't let the ad agency. He fucked over Leo Burnett. He fucked over DDB Needham. I mean, out of arrogance. And it's the lowest, to this day, lowest rated Budweiser commercial in Budweiser Anheuser-Busch history.
Dag, when you're in that situation, I know the song and the commercial and whatever it is. How much is it? Is it the good song and the good commercial, or how much is who you know?
Well, it's who you know. I could not have gotten into DDB Needham easily. I mean, the entertainment business is all about who you know.
Absolutely.
Listen, I know a lot of people. You know a lot of people. You get people who come to you because you have connections. I have a lot of connections.
Yeah.
And I'm an asshole, and I'll get what I want it. So I'm gonna push hard for whatever it is that motivates me. Okay. So if you got a band, I'll find a way to get you there. Now the problem is a lot of the people in the record business from the 90s have retired, gone, or died.
They're finito, finished.
They're history. So now, and I'm trying to it's funny because I had a conversation with Sony Records a couple of weeks ago about this band 1096, right? The guy is a
great band.
Huh?
Great
awesome
band. John is a good friend of mine, the bass player, good people.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the guy's just busting my chops and I'm trying to throw out names that don't even work at Sony anymore. So I look like a total tool.
But you're trying. No, at least you're trying to support local talent, baby.
It's all that matters. Keep your tribute bands. Do your. I like bands who do cover stuff. I like a variety. But if you're gonna go out and you're just gonna tribute to one band, I want to vomit. You know, it makes me crazy. And there are some tribute bands that I do support, but for the most part, fuck your tribute band.
Well, you know, and talking about tribute bands in one way, if you think about it, I mean, if you put if you get a Kiss, Elvis, Beatles, Zeppelin, and you put that on a marquee anywhere, there people are going to come. They're
Yeah.
going to come. It sells itself. It sells itself. And if you look like them, that's even better. Now, there's a lot of tribute acts out there that don't look anything like them at all, but they're just playing the music of, you know, that
Well,
type.
that's the thing that aggravates me.
Yeah.
Listen, if you're going to go out and call yourself a tribute, that means you're being real to having the right drum kit, playing the right guitar, looking the part. You know, don't wear a shitty wig. You know, nothing aggravates me more than people who do shit halfway.
Yeah.
If you're going to go out there and claim to be a musician, you're going to represent somebody. Hey, here's an idea. Get on the scale and quit eating cheeseburgers. I don't want to see your fat ass representing somebody who's skinny. You look ridiculous.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's obnoxious. You go to Vegas. Let me tell you something. I lived there for 7 years. You want to see real bands?
Yeah.
Behave like real bands?
Yeah.
Because they get paid a lot of money to not be fat, disgusting slobs on stage.
Even the dancers and the shows, they got to get weighed in. They got to do that. I played the Riviera for 7 years, so I know exactly what it's like, man. And these tribute artists look like the real fucking people.
Absolutely.
I mean, wow. And there's a lot of work with the production and everything behind it. You know what I mean? I mean, it takes a lot of work. I mean, that ABBA tribute that's out there, Dag, is huge. The New York Bee Gees band, I mean, they look like they sound just like they're fantastic. Yeah.
They're unbelievable.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, and I'm not trying to diss on all Chicago music, but I'm going to tell you, Chicago musicians, right now, you're a disappointment. You're a disappointment because you've fallen into a pattern of being complacent and lazy. You stopped writing. You stop taking care of yourself. Then you get up on stage and you play the music well, but you're fat and ugly. So get off the stage and make room for young, up-and-coming talent. And I'm not making any apologies for this. I'm not trying to be an asshole, but facts are facts, and facts don't care about your feelings.
No, you got a point about that. And I think when I even had Richie and guys from Seventh Heaven on, and we were talking about at one time when we played, when bands came, the original bands, whatever it was, when they first came out, it was an event. People came because they came to see you. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of great bands out there, but like Rich was telling me from Seventh Heaven and a lot of other acts tell me that, hey, you've got to be a jukebox or nobody's fucking interested. You have to be a jukebox.
Well, you know what? And Rich, I was on the phone with Richie for 2.5 hours last night, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw the interview he and I did. And we talked about it. We mostly talked about politics. We talked about this a little bit. And him and I have had 6-hour-long conversations on the phone about the music industry.
Yeah.
You're right. People are right about being a jukebox. Okay. So who's conforming you to this? You know, my problem is I have a big problem with the whole Chicago circuit. First of all, the river of rock and roll goes from Mississippi through Memphis, through Nashville to Chicago, period. And then it bled out to LA, which created the metal scene and hip hop scene in New York, which then bled to LA as well, and a great hip hop scene in Chicago. But the river of rock and roll goes from Mississippi to Chicago. Number one. Number two, Chicago was known for developing some of the greatest talent. Everybody wanted to record here. Chess Records, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles. Yeah. Everybody wanted to be here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't realize how many great artists have stepped foot in studios and in obscure places and played little tiny clubs and never said they were the Rolling Stones or the Beatles.
Yeah.
Right? And it happened here in Chicago because there's an emotion once you get from Memphis had a different kind of country than Nashville. Nashville became the birthplace of the country. And then you get to Chicago and it all kind of fed in this rock and roll. So that being said, we've developed some of the greatest bands: Smashing Pumpkins, Styx, Cheap Trick. Jesus, I could go on and on and on. I just can't think
Yeah,
of them.
absolutely. I mean,
Tool. People don't realize Tool. Where was Tool's first gig? Evanston, Illinois.
there you go.
Know this shit.
There's a lot of great, but we also, I was talking to Richie, and I'm going to show you talk about it too about this. There was so many clubs, so many venues. All the record companies were here in Chicago.
Yeah.
Everybody left, and they were signing great bands. I mean, you can go back to New Colony Six, Buckingham's. We're going back to the '60s. We're talking about bands that got signed. Even Kevin Lee, when he came out, he had a record. Or The Kind. People got deals. Or Tommy Holland and the Boys and the Bees, and all those bands would come out. They off Broadway. Enough's enough. You know, they get records and they go out and it's fantastic stuff. Great stuff coming out of Chicago, just like you said. Everybody all of a sudden left Chicago and everybody went to LA, or then they all went to Nashville. Why, Dag, why did the record companies, why do you think the rock clubs and venues closed? What happened to the city of Chicago?
Well, I think, you had, like I said earlier, you had the great music industry crash of the late 90s.
Correct.
Which stretched into about 2004. It went on for a long time. And it wasn't until Facebook and YouTube, which was 2004, when both those organizations came out, that things started to change. You always had, bands always were sending a mixed message. Some bands would give their music away to get fans, and some wanted to charge for it. So you had that, and I get it on both sides. But then the clubs had to keep asses in seats. You can't blame the club who says, I got a staff of 15 people here from the kitchen to the floor that need to get paid. So I got to start bringing in bands that are going to draw. And the bands that worked hard, the Aras, the Hi-Fives, the Infinities, the Lounge Puppets, which are another incarnation. LP Vinyl. These bands draw. Seventh Heaven.
Right.
Bands draw. Joey DeMarco used to call me in a pinch all the time because he knew I would make sure that I drew people to a club.
Yeah.
Same thing started happening. So all of a sudden, then the clubs become complacent and they go, wow, this band is in here doing covers. And like I said, I'm a supporter of cover bands, not so much the tribute thing. I'm not apologetic about it. But if you go in and get Cheap Foreign Cars, great band, man.
Yeah.
Oh God, they're so much fun.
Sure.
But an Ara, Infinity, blah blah blah. If I got to hear "Don't Stop Believing" again in my life, or it feels like the first time, I can't take it. But the clubs had to do what they had to do to pay the bills.
What about the record labels? Why did the record labels leave?
Well, because there's no money in it if the music is free. That you can't get a development deal now. I mean, they used to hand out $50,000, $100,000 development deals.
Like nothing.
And now, if you got a development deal, you'd have to be on your way to being as big as Taylor Swift. And she, in my opinion, is, annoying.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean she's not talented.
Correct. She's very talented, but if she didn't have any breakups, there would be no hit songs.
There would be no songs. If she wasn't miserable, there'd be nothing.
And let me ask you something. How old is she to have that many fucking breakups? I mean, what the shit?
Listen,
just say what it is,
Thoughts on this, and I'm guessing in the relationship position, she's kind of a bitch. I'm just gonna throw that.
All right. There you go.
Of that many guys in that short a period of time, it'd be a nice person.
You're watching Ocean's Pit, little show about big things. Dag Show is with us, my buddy Dag. Listen to this, Dag. This is about comedians or comics, or just like what we do on our show. Since we speak our mind, we are characters. You pay good damn money, a lot of money, to see a comedian say something offensive. We do it for free, and we're assholes.
Oh, God, aggravates me all the time.
Look, I always said to myself, I'm saying that I'd rather have the person that's loud and in your face than the quiet guy that shakes your hand and talks behind your back when you leave the fucking building or you leave the room. Right?
Listen, this is the 10-year anniversary on Facebook of the Dag Show. That's a long time
Absolutely.
doing something and doing what I do. Listen, I've had my house vandalized, my family threatened. I've had, and it's my own fault because I gave up my information where I lived a while back.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Right.
so I'm
Exactly.
idiot. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, these things have happened to me because of my political views and because of my big mouth. At the end of the day, I'm not going to change who I am, and I'm not going to back down in my opinions. Nothing is more important to me than rock and roll in America, period. Those things. Yeah, and my relationship, obviously, with my girl, my family, but as things go that are outside of that realm, rock and roll in America, freedom in rock and roll. And it's flip flops back and forth. And I'm not going to be apologetic about supporting my country. I'm not going to be apologetic about telling bands when they suck. I'm not going to be apologetic about saying what I think and know is right and what we need to do is a rock and roll society.
I totally agree with you coming from. And talking about the guys on shows and old radios, shock jocks, whatever you call them, you got to give them credit. I'm going to throw a few names and just give me real quick because I want to get involved with some politics.
Sure.
I'm going to throw some names at you. Steve Dahl,
Love Steve Dahl.
one of the best. One of the
Huge.
best.
I was a huge fan.
Huge fan. Johnny B wasn't much of a. He was out. Brandmeyer was great, but he wasn't that. He kind of played the line, right on the line. He never did that
But
crazy.
Johnny B was awesome and he was funny. I love Johnny B.
Johnny B. Let's go to Mancow.
Look, Mancow and I have had our differences in the sense of how we think and feel about things.
Correct.
I don't, and I'm good friends with Brentwood Bill from
Okay.
Joe. And I really got, listen, I got a lot of respect for what Mancow's achieved.
Me too. Very intelligent man. Very
I-
intelligent man.
He just did it differently. So hats off to Mancow because he's 10 times more successful than me. So what the fuck is
And
mine?
let's go to the top of the gravy train. Of course, the great Howard Stern.
Great Howard Stern, man. Got to tell you, best interviewer in the history of interviewing any human being. There is
he could take a serious conversation and just turn it into a fucking insult, and nobody gives a shit.
Nobody gives a shit. But when he interviews, like when he interviewed Robert Plant, he interviews celebrities. Nobody does it better than Howard Stern. I would kill to be half that good.
How about when he interviewed Pete Best, who used to be the drummer with the Beatles, and he got kicked out? He goes, "How does it feel?" I mean, the first question he asked him, "How does it feel that you got no money? You got kicked out of being the drummer of the best fucking rock and roll band in the world, and you're gone."
Because this is the problem, and this is why I get accused of being an asshole a lot, because I ask the questions everybody else is afraid to ask. Don't send me people want to ask me questions all the time. I get recognized in public at the fucking grocery store, at the liquor store, at the gas station. Not like I'm a super celebrity, but people ask me questions everywhere I go. If you don't want to hear my answer, don't ask me questions.
Don't ask a question. Absolutely. All right, real fast. Let me throw a couple topics at you.
Mhm.
Brandon Johnson, a new mayor of Chicago.
Burn the whole city down. The city of Chicago is fucked. And let me tell you something. The Democratic Party nationally destroys the minority people, fucks them all over, creates all these problems, and then yet the minorities keep standing up going, oh, okay, we'll vote Democrats. You know what? If you want to stand in shit and smell shit, then stay in the shit. And go ahead. We'll build a wall around Chicago because once.
But and I agree with you 100%. But here's what I don't understand: it was bad for the years that Lori Lightfoot's mayor. It's been bad. It's been proven it's bad. People are bitching about it all the time. Why would you put somebody back in that does the exact same thing or not worse? That's what I don't understand.
Because of empty promises and social programs. As long as you're going to continue to feed the underprivileged, they're going to play your game. It's not going to change until we find programs that uplift the minorities or the poverty stricken. If we're not going to focus on those programs, then you're just going ahead and you're just keeping a constituency because you just keep feeding them money. It's fucking bullshit.
Absolutely. Look at this. Trump hate was made from the fake media. Joe Biden, President of the United States, I think is really hated by the American people.
55% of people, according to Newsmax, says that don't support the Donald Trump indictment. Let me tell you, Bill Clinton paid Paula Jones $8,500,000 for hush money. He never got arrested. Why? They're arresting the man, not the crime. Why do you think, Dag, they're doing this? They don't want him to run for president of the United States in the next election. Correct.
Because Donald Trump has done what he said he was going to do all along. And whether you support him or not, it's exposed the scumbags in Washington. And I'm telling you, there are scumbags on both sides.
Sure. Correct.
And he wasn't afraid to expose the conservatives either. The delusion that Joe Biden has created all these jobs, and it's just madness. If you just go back and are willing to do the homework, Joe Biden had nothing to do with anything except ruining the economy.
Absolutely. And it's
all up.
Yeah. And what Donald Trump said, whether you like him or not, he said, they're not after me. They're after you. I'm just in the way.
Right. That's absolutely. And I agree. I agree with that statement. And I think, listen, I was a diehard Democratic liberal a long time ago, man. And it wasn't until the Obama, and I voted for Obama twice. That's the second time I didn't want to, but I wasn't going to go with Romney, even though I was starting to turn into a conservative. Then I started doing a lot of homework, and I went, what the fuck is the Democratic Party doing? I used to own a charity, a 503c, called A Place Called Home in Chicago here. And only thing that ever happened there was people took my money. Homeless people took my money. Nobody did anything. And the Democrats just kept lying and lying and lying, making promises, empty promises, and never fulfilling any of them. So slowly over time, I changed my mind. And now I'm probably more of a libertarian that leans heavily conservative than I am just a straight up Republican.
I got it. I mean, look at this. DeSantis, governor, of course, of Florida, him and Trump were close and they had their falling out, but he even said it's political. Jeb Bush said it's political. Mike Pence, former vice president of the United States, who was, of course, with Donald Trump, of course, he threw him under the bus, but now he's saying that, hey, man, this is political. This is unfair. If they can come after this guy, then come after anybody.
Well, here's what people have to understand. If you read the Constitution, it is the undeniable law of the land that cannot be trumped by laws that are made to overpower the Constitution without proper amendments being made. In other words, what I'm saying is no matter what law, no matter what thought, no matter what ideology you have, you do not trump the Constitution. And I don't mean Donald Trump. It does not. You can make it up. You can put it in action in Iowa or whatever. It does not. It does not the Constitution. It does not. It's written in the Constitution. You would have to get an amendment. So fuck all you crazy people with your fucking stupid laws and ordinances and things that don't really apply. When it comes down, I'm sorry if I got off track there.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I just didn't want to run out of time. We got about 10 minutes, but Dan, look, I understand exactly where you're coming from. It doesn't make me say, look, this is the tale of the tape. Trump versus Biden. Trump, 74 years old, Biden, 77. Years into politics. Trump, 47 years, President Joe Biden's been in politics. Tails, one knockout for Trump, no knockouts for Biden. 6'3", forget weight, forget capitalism. Trump, capitalism. Biden, communist. Billions of dollars, Trump. Biden, nothing. I mean, let's go. 47 years of zero accomplishments in the president of the United States, Joe Biden.
Well, listen, the Democratic Party has done a great job in indoctrinating our children. We have, Di and I have seen this firsthand. We fought the Plainfield, Illinois school system here, and it's created problems. In other words, they've retaliated in a negative way over the last several years against me and her.
Yeah.
And her. This indoctrination of, this transgender thing and this gay and lesbian thing. Listen, we're talking about 0.001% of the population is transgender, but they're eating up 80% of all the media. And we're talking about this as if this really affects any of our lives.
It doesn't affect any of our lives.
Lowering the fucking price of gas and and having ground beef not be $9 a pound at the
What
local.
about eggs? What about eggs? It
Oh my
doesn't make a
God.
difference. They're just using that. Oh, look at this. The election, for instance, just one thing I had to read, which someone sent me, and I was like, wow. And if you really think about it, folks, I mean, look, there are 3,243 countries in America. Joe Biden won 16% of them. Somehow this translated into 80,000 whatever votes for Biden. This is
83 million.
mathematical and impossibility. It took
It's
16% of the largest countries and added all the votes of these countries. It would add up to 33.5 million votes, and Biden would have won every single vote in these countries. That fact alone proves that it was a rigged election.
Well, this is where everybody needs to settle down. People look at me and think I'm just some lunatic, because I wear jewelry, cowboy hat, got long hair and sunglasses. I read everything. Harvard did a study in 2018. They took 36 of the freest countries in the world. They released it in 2018. They spent like 6 years putting this together. 36 of the freest nations in the world. And the United States ranked 34th in election integrity. In other words,
34.
bottom of the fucking barrel.
Yeah. I mean,
There
what the
is
hell
no-
does that tell you? I don't get it. I don't understand it. Ocean's Pit, little show about big things, folks. We got Dag from the Dag Show on. Oh, we got one more. We got to take our sponsor, folks. Of course, our good buddies from Patriot Funding Incorporated, folks. That's right. When timing is everything, commercial money lending at its finest. Buy local, shop local with Dave Antonelli and Patriot Funding Incorporated, 630-675-4730. Dag is on the show, folks, from the Dag Show. Dag, how about this? You look at Mount Rushmore, there's not one Democrat on that mountain.
Not one. And Democrats were the party of slavery. Republicans were the party of freeing the slaves. So,
Well, let me ask you something. What do you think is going to happen with Donald Trump?
well, it's hard to tell at this point. I get asked this question almost 5 times a day. I'm not kidding you. You would
Yeah.
not believe how many messages I get a day
Sure.
on political issues. Right now, what they have done with this indictment is they've empowered the Republican Party and Donald Trump beyond comprehension. What we're going to see, my personal opinion,
Right.
is you are going to see an elevation of Donald Trump you didn't even see before, because the Democratic Party has humiliated, Bragg has humiliated himself and the Democratic Party with these ridiculous 34 indictments. Come on. This is insanity.
Insanity is right.
Over nonsense.
The minute he took Trump, the minute Trump got indicted, folks, Alvin Bragg single-handedly raised $41 million for campaign for Donald Trump.
I
It's
know.
going to be like when they did to Tupac. Once he died, his record sold like crazy.
They said that Donald Trump raised, after all this shit came out, that he raised $10 million in like 13 minutes. It's like, you guys have no idea what kind of, the Democrats have lost their way. They have an ideology that doesn't suit our constitutional republic. I don't know why. They just want to ruin everything. I really can't get my head
At one time, they didn't get along, but at least they sat down and say, okay, what's good for the country at one time?
Right.
And then with the whole 2020 pandemic, you know what? When they released that vaccine, and I know we're running out of time, but that vaccine, and when I found out that if you worked for the CDC, you didn't have to be vaccinated.
Right. Well, see, I did the whole COVID thing since day one. I was all over it, doing show after show after show. Facebook was taking my videos down. They were taking my pages down. It was a nightmare. Di and I tried to do show after show, and every time we did it, they blocked my show or took it down. I've had 2 of my pages taken down by Facebook. So over 10 years, that's fucking trying to rebuild your audience when you have this liberal machine completely shut down for no reason because we don't agree.
Absolutely. And it's horrible what's happening to this country. We are so divided, folks. It really is sad that we are divided the way we are. I just got to throw some birthdays out, folks. Rich Deanna, of course. Tony, if you're listening, buddy. Rich Deanna's birthday. Portillo's happy 60. some celebrities. Debbie Reynolds, of course. Gabe Kaplan from the great Welcome Back, Kotter. Angus Young is 68 years old. Angus, ACDC. Randy Orton, for all you wrestling fans, WWE. Ali McGraw turns 84. The great Lon Chaney, the man of 1,000 faces. Jack Webb from Dragnet. Dr. Demento, used to watch his shows, 82 years old. How about Vegas man Wayne Newton celebrates her birthday? Doris Day, my good friend Patty Manzella, and Joe Cantafio, Jade 50s. He's one of the best, man. You got to love him. And it's just crazy what this world is coming to, folks. And I don't know what's going to happen. But, Dag, this is so good. There's got to be a part 2, baby. We got to do a part 2. We got to do more. We're going to be in mid. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
If I may, I want to thank everybody who joins in here. I shared this on my pages as well, and I hope more of you guys come and do this. You can go to facebook.com/The Dag Show or thedagshow.com. Thedagshow.com, the website, and see what we got. It's a new website too, so there's a lot of stuff being added regularly. Thank you so much.
No, man, listen, I love what you do, man. I always love the man who takes it like it is. Biggest compliment I ever got says, "You're different." I'm not just with the show, just as a person. That's the biggest compliment I ever got, saying to me, man, you're like, you don't fit in, or you are different. You know what? I'd rather have 100 difference than those people that follow and drink the juice, go with the flow. Remember, the only thing that goes with the flow is dead fish. Dead fish are the only thing that goes with the flow.
I'm using that. The only people who go with the flow are dead fish.
Dead fish. We're going to be in Minnesota with the Oceans Rat Pack next Thursday, folks, at the Polo Club. We'll be at the Woodstock Theater, folks, on April 15th. We'll be at the Lyric Theater in Blue Island, April 29th. We'll be at the Des Plaines Theater, April 30th, oshows.com. We'll be at the Alley Carnival Speakeasy on the 24th, and we'll be the Forget About It Winery on August 20th in Galena. Of course, our good buddy Dag. But before we go, let's go out with our good buddy real fast. Ace Hardware, folks, Norwich, Des Plaines, Evergreen Park, Warrenville. They've been helping neighborhoods before they were neighbors, and that's what they've been helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. Folks, tell them $20 off any grill purchase. Folks, go in there and say grill your Ace off, and you get $20 off any grill purchase from Ace Hardware. Our good buddy Dag. Dag, when is the show on again where people can see it? When is it going to be?
Well, we do a Sunday morning show, and sometimes we have some interruption. We just, like you, doing a new studio. We built a new studio here, so we bought all this new equipment. So we've had a few technical issues, but sometimes we go to these events, and it's really hard to get up and do the show in the morning. It's tough.
Sure, I know what you're saying. I do it Monday through Friday. I don't know how I do it. Our prayers go out to Mark from Seventh Heaven. I hope he's doing good. I heard the surgery went well, so good for our buddy Mark out there. We're actually going to have Dino on next week, so I'm excited about that. And tomorrow, I have a meeting with Richie from Seventh Heaven, because Tony Ocean, and my new band, Mojo's Root, Joe Box, my new rock band, are going to be joining the Seventh Heaven cruise in January this year. So I'm very excited.
I'm be on it too.
That should be very, very cool.
Dag Show live from the cruise. And I want to real quick respond to this gentleman. Is that John? John, you go to facebook.com/The Dag Show or www.thedagshow.com.
Absolutely. And we got to get Dag. Will you come back again, brother? We got to do it again.
Mo, listen, I follow you. I share your stuff. I'm going to, anytime you want me around, man. And I know I was going to be in studio with you today, but my car broke down, had to have it towed, blew a power steering line. So it's at the shop literally now, but I'm glad we could do it this way.
I'm glad we can do it. And next way we'll do it in a studio for sure, folks. Don't forget, tonight we'll be at Capri, the brand new one in Downers Grove. That's with Jerry Jams. Right. Jerry was watching. How you doing, buddy? That's a 6:30 hit tomorrow. Zaza's in Barrington Friday, Chicago Prime. Saturday will be at Champions in Plainfield, Illinois, Saturday, 8 o'clock. I want to thank you all for watching. Remember, folks, a couple things. Thank you for supporting local establishments and live entertainment. It's very, very important to be nice, man. Try to go out and be yourself, man. Be yourself.
Support original music.
Absolutely. We got to bring it back, folks. The great words of Ringo Starr, peace and love, peace and love. But folks, Nick Sahajas, the piano man, is going to take us out. Dag from the Dag Show in the house. Thank you, my brother. God bless you, man.
Thank
See you
you.
soon. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow, because tomorrow, you know what that is, co-host my lovely wife, Laura Ocean. Back on Ocean's Pit, let us show about big things. Have a great day. Nick, take us out, brother. You got it.
Time to go, it's the end of the show. See you later from Tony O.
Peace and love, everybody. Thank you, Dag. Have a good one.
Peace. Love you guys. Hi, Laura. And you guys all have a great day. Thanks, everybody, for joining us.